Hi everybody. This is my first time doing a vlog, so bear with me. I wanted to do a little recap of this past year to include some personal highlights and some low points, so all my friends can know me just a little bit better. So here goes. Back in March, I got to go live one of my lifelong dreams. I got to end a 27-year wait and see my favorite band, Duran Duran, in concert. It was amazing. It was everything I dreamt of and so much more. I got to travel down to way down south in Oklahoma to a town called Thackerville and spent the night there and saw them in concert at the WinStar World Casino. It was one of the most amazing experiences of my life. I had so much fun. A little while later, I was told that my position at work was being eliminated, and I had about a month to find a new position in the company or I would be jobless. By chance, I got really lucky and found a new position within a week, and I've been doing that job ever since. It is a much more difficult position, and to be honest, I have been struggling a little bit with the work, but I'm improving all the time, so I guess that's all you can ask. Not long after I started my new position at work, I discovered that my boyfriend of a year and a half, my first boyfriend ever, had been cheating on me and lying to me the entire time he knew me, and that he had scammed me for money. Needless to say, our relationship did not survive much longer, and at the end of that relationship, it nearly destroyed me. I thought he was the one, the man I was meant to be with for the rest of my life. I just couldn't believe how wrong I could have been about him. I was really, really wrong. I did survive him, though, and I'm stronger now because of it. I was also in a relationship with another man that things started out really well with, and I thought we could be really happy too, but it quickly dissolved into a series of vicious fights. Horrible words were spoken, and horrible things were done to each other. And we kept fighting and breaking up and coming back together again, only to hurt each other all over again. We still try to be friends, but we still keep hurting each other, so I don't know if that's really ever going to work out or not. And of course, there's also been a long string of short term, long distance relationships that went nowhere fast because either they only wanted money from me or they were just too far away and there was just no future there for us. It seemed that I couldn't get it right, and it was really starting to get me down that I couldn't find that true love that I've always wanted, and it was kind of depressing. Uh, then, one Friday night in late July, um, we were home and there was a crash in our apartment parking lot about 1 o'clock in the morning. Much to my horror, some nitwit was driving way too fast to our parking lot and slammed into 5 cars. Ours being one of them and being the worst of the ones damaged. Our poor car was totaled and it left us without a car for several weeks. Eventually, we did get the settlement taken care of and we did get a new car and we were able to secure the financing for it. So that's a good thing. I mean, we're making payments again, but at least we have a car, so that's a good thing. Um, on September 1st, I had lost one of my dearest and oldest friends. My friend Jerry Bettis Hane passed away after a long battle with breast cancer. I had known her since I was in my mid 20s when I worked at the Super Saver Theater. We worked together there and in my current company, and it was always a joy to be able to talk to her. She was so much fun to talk to, and so full of life. She was such a fighter, and now that she's gone, I really miss her. But I know that she's in a better place. But Jerry, if you're watching, you are missed. Um, Back in early November, I experienced one of the scariest things of my entire life: earthquake. It was pretty scary. Oklahoma's not really known for being a big earthquake territory. We don't get a lot of earthquakes that we really feel. Um, it was really scary because it was a 5.6, which is one of the biggest ones that we've had ever. And I was sitting here in my room, video chatting with my best friend when it happened. It was really scary because everything was shaking. I froze, and I could see everything shaking, and it just kept going and going. It was like for a minute or more, and it even scared him. It was pretty freaky. The earthquakes didn't stop there. There was a couple more after that that I could still feel. They didn't last as long. They weren't as intense, but it It was pretty scary, and even now I still get a little freaked out if I feel like a rumbling. I wonder, is it an earthquake? So it's still pretty scary. But things have calmed down a lot, so hopefully we won't have to go through that again anytime soon. Thank God I don't live in California. I've also had a lot of self discovery this year with all the failed relationships and loves. You start to examine what might be wrong with you and that you might be driving people away. And what I found was really alarming. I have issues with jealousy. Any little thing that comes along that might possibly be a threat to me, I lose control and I get nasty jealous, and I never wanted to be that way. But I know that it stems from my insecurities. I like to seem like a happy go lucky kind of guy and be really laid back, but honestly, inside of me is that scared little boy that is so afraid that he'll never um, really find the love that he desperately wants. That when I do find it, I don't trust in it, and I believe it will go away. And eventually, I do things to ensure that it will actually happen, and I usually end up being alone again. Um, I'm overly emotional, and I cry very easily. It's mainly that I'm really sentimental, and I get overwhelmed when something really touches me. But I've come to see that I cry way too much, and I kind of come off as being a big crybaby. I'm also easily hurt. I tend to let things hurt my feelings a lot, and when that happens, either I curl up inside myself and shut down, or I get nasty and make really sharp and hurtful remarks. And what I need to learn to do is to just stop and calm myself down and just talk things out. Things go a lot better if you just stay calm. Um, that also leads to me going on the defensive way too easily because in some situations I feel if someone is asking me questions, they are attacking my character, and I get defensive, and they probably have valid reasons, legitimate reasons for asking me these questions that aren't malicious. And so I shouldn't have to go on the defensive, just answer their questions and just let it be. So that's something else I need to work on. Um, I've also noticed I'm kind of antisocial, unless I'm online. For all my online friends, I'm very sociable and easy to talk to, but in the real world, I don't hardly talk to anyone. Mainly because I feel like they're not going to be interested in anything that I have to say, so what's the point in wasting my breath? Um, and God forbid there be a cute guy around because I feel like I will completely ignore him. And so he don't know that I'm attracted to him, and I don't have to see that look of rejection in his eyes. I can be too trusting, as my past relationships have taught me, and I need to keep my eyes open better so I don't get hurt so much because there's a lot of people who aren't what they seem, both online and in the real world. I'm also very self conscious, and I'm always worried about how anything that I do is going to be viewed by other people. I am so afraid of people treating me like I'm strange or weird, so I'm very careful about what I say and what I do so that I seem as normal as possible. Um, Lastly, I'm too giving. Um, when I'm among family and friends, I usually let everyone have their own way and I never complain to the point of being very frustrated with myself. I feel like I'm being too nice and letting people run all over me because I won't be honest and how I feel because I never think I have the right to complain. And what I need to do is stand up for myself more often and let my voice be heard, but in a non confrontational kind of way. The last thing I'd like to talk about is my best friend. I met him almost a year and a half ago, about the time I was starting to have problems with my first boyfriend. He's always been there for me every time I needed him, sometimes before I even said anything, sometimes before I even knew that I needed him. Um, he knows me so well, and he always knows when something's bothering me. Over time, we have grown as great friends, and I don't know what I would do without him in my life, and never ever want to find out. He is very special to me. We have shared so much of our lives with each other that I feel that we are woven into each other's lives, and he is a part of me and part of me now, and I hope that I'm a part of him too. Um, we have been there for each other, and we have been through a lot together. We've talked together, laughed together, cried together, had our hearts break together. We spent countless hours on the phone talking to each other. We stayed up all night talking. We spent whole days together. I love and cherish every single moment we have ever spent together, and I wouldn't trade him for anything in the world. He is the best friend I have ever had. I kind of feel like he's my soulmate. One thing I want you to know about my best friend, because I want you all to understand, my best friend is transgender. What that means is that he's a male in every sense of the word, except that technically, biologically, he was born a female. And to me, I've always known him as a guy. I've always seen him as a guy. That's what he's been to me. That's what he'll always be to me. And that's what I wish that everyone else would see too. He has really opened my eyes to a lot of things that I wasn't aware of before and things that I took for granted. For instance, I never have to worry about going into a public restroom. I walk into the men's restroom, it's a given choice, but he always has to worry about the looks he might get or the comments that he might get going into either one because people feel he doesn't belong in either one. Uh, Another thing is, I never really have to worry about being called ma'am or miss, and he has to deal with that all the time. I just wish that people would see that he's a guy and address him as such. Sir, Mr. Dude. Another thing is that I have the freedom to go around without a shirt on anytime that I choose. I usually don't choose to do it a lot because no one needs to see that, but that's a freedom that he so desperately wants, and until he has chest surgery, he can't do that. And I never knew that that could be something that was so crippling is, that desire to just want to be able to walk around without your shirt on and not really being able to. And I desperately want that for him. So he's really changed my life. And but mostly what I want you all to know is transgender or not, my best friend is simply the most amazing person I have ever known. I'm always so excited to talk to him and spend time with him. If I know we won't talk, even if I know we won't talk much because he's working on an art project, I am in awe just watching him create. Even though he's led a difficult life, he doesn't let it get to him. He doesn't let it get him down. He's one of the sweetest, kindest, most caring, and considerate people you will ever meet. For every bit of joy he brings to my life, I will never be able to repay him. But I pledge I will always be there for him every single time he needs me without fail. Well, I think that's about all for this year. I will do my best to continue my vlog for anyone who's interested, and I'll try to do an entry a week if I can. I hope you all enjoyed all that I had to say today, and I wish you all the very best for 2012. Happy New Year's. Bye.